Welcome all to our second presentation for the Continuing Master class of 2021 of the Berklee Global Jazz Institute at Berklee College of Music. And we have the pleasure to have the student Ciara Moser presenting her presentation, Blind, So What? Music and Blindness. Um, Bassist Ciara Moser was born in 1996 in Ireland and moved to Austria with age 4. As a multi-talented blind musician, she mastered various styles and genres in band, orchestra, film, and ensemble projects, live and in studio. She completed her bachelor and master degree, majoring in music education at the University of Music and Performing Arts in Vienna. In addition to that, Ciara studied at the 5-week Women Performance Program, the undergrad program, and the Global Jazz Graduate Program, Berklee College of Music. So, Ciara, please start whenever you're ready.
Hello and welcome everyone to my culminating experience presentation with the title Blind, So What? I'm presenting today is Music and Blindness. I am blind since birth, and this has always affected my life immensely. Because we live in such a visual world, I face the challenge of getting my colleagues to seeing the musician in me foremost. It is hard to break through the many misconceptions and stereotyping that exist and get society to look beyond blindness and to acknowledge the artist that stands in front of them. This is why today I would like to invite you into my world, the world of a blind musician. Through research, exchange of experience with other blind musicians, and consultation with my teachers and faculty at Berklee, I came up with 4 topics that relate to both my life as a blind musician and my life as a blind person in general. 1. Compensating senses. 2. Proprioception. 3. Memory. And 4. Trust. Through this presentation, I seek to empower and pass on the message that everyone in society should have the same opportunities and should be equally treated. I want society to be more aware of the special skills and strengths that people with disability have. The ambition I have is to make society aware of blindness being a characteristic and not a disability. Additionally, I wish to inspire sighted people to explore a new point of view to music and life. Last but not least, I want to be a role model for people who are blind or who have other disability and help them to find their ways through life and to achieve what they want, regardless of their disability. According to the World Health Organization, 1 billion people in this world have a disability. That equals 15%. In the USA, 1 out of 4 adults have a disability. That equals 61 million people, or 26%. 43 million people in this world are blind, and 295 million people have a visual impairment. In this case, blind means that you can't recognize a hand in front of your face. In the following slides, I will introduce the 4 selected topics, and after each topic, I will show a part of the related composition. For a blind person, the in our society most important sense is missing. So if all senses add up to 100%, a sighted person uses 80 to 90% for seeing. A blind person has to compensate that absence through using the other senses more. Studies have shown that the brain of people who are born blind or who turn blind early rewires itself, and that areas that are normally used for vision will be utilized for heightened perception through the other 4 senses. This, of course, doesn't happen automatically. A blind person has to grow up in the right environment and receive the appropriate education and support in order to build those abilities. In the composition that was inspired by this topic, I introduce 4 motifs that symbolize the 4 senses, and they extend in the second half of the melody. When we listen to this song, I would like to invite you to close your eyes and to try to perceive the music as I always do. Of course, you're invited to do this throughout the whole presentation, but for me, it's especially important that you do it for this song. The sixth sense, or proprioception, is the awareness of our body and limbs in space. It is controlled by the gene PSO2. This gene was found through the discovery of the proprioception deficit disorder, or SAC syndrome. This disorder is caused by a mutation in the gene PSO2, and people who suffer from that can't walk or, for example, touch their nose when they're blindfolded. They have to use sight to compensate the missing sense of proprioception. For me, this sense is crucial for finding my ways in and outside rooms, and also, for example, for orientating myself on the fingerboard of the bass. The lyrics in the following composition speak about the sixth sense, and also the kicks and the color changes in the chorus symbolize the feeling of moving limbs in space.
I'm feeling something I can't describe. I'm looking for the vibe. Something you can smell, something you can't hear. Neither see it or taste it, but it's somewhere here. it's somewhere in me.
Not only a heightened perception through the other senses, but also a good memory is very important for a blind musician. Because I can't read printed sheet music, the only possibility for me to play is to learn everything by heart. Through always relying on memory, and because of the neuroplasticity of the brain, blind people develop a better memory growing up. They also tend to have a better short-term memory. Not only in music, memory is important for a blind person, but also for memorizing the ways they walk, or for memorizing where they put their belongings, or for memorizing, for example, where the right buttons on the stove or on the wash machine are. Repetition, discipline, association, or structurizing would be a few tips how to memorize quicker. The structure of the following piece is based on the process through which I normally memorize, and the lyrics emphasize the importance of memory for a blind musician.
I am memorizing every bit and piece of each song, for playing everything with discipline, concentration. I save it to my hard drive and use my memory to find the way through all the pieces I play, so I can know where to go. I internalize the music like a language or a code. Patience and energy for learning the melody and all the chords of the song. Bit for bit you learn the parts you need to know to be the musician who can express the music as it really is, the emotion that the listener is looking for.
Trust is defined as the confidence, hope, or faith in someone or something. Because we live in such a visual world, certain things aren't possible without the assistance of a sighted person. That's why blind people often rely on trusting colleagues, peers, friends, or family. Examples would be needing the guidance of someone, needing someone to read something out for me, or, for example, needing someone to describe something that I don't see happening, like, for example, in a movie. In music, I rely on trusting someone else for getting to gigs or rehearsals that happen in a place that I've never been at before, or for communicating what's on the chart, or, for example, for giving me spoken or audible cues that normally happen visually. To develop a strong ability of trust, the first thing we need is self-confidence. because if you trust yourself, you can believe in others. This needs a strong support from your environment, no matter if it's friends, teachers, or family. It is important to know that there's always a place to go back to. This enables a person to be more open, trusting, and believing in the positive in people. The first piece you will hear relates to the confidence, courage, and trust you need in yourself to live life as a blind person. Having the courage of trusting myself and, for example, aiming for directions when I cross the street or when I walk somewhere inspired me to write a solo piece with a lot of shifts on the fretboard of the bass. The second piece I will show you talks about the power of trust and the strong influence that trust has, the strong influence that our family and our friends have on our ability to trust. In this piece, mainly the lyrics and the strong groove convey the message of the song.
Imagine how it is to live in a world you can't see, relying on someone else's helping hand, following every step, every turn, every move that's made, without any fear. Let go control and don't hesitate. Trust in your friends and family. Live your life without ceasing, together in this community. I trust in you, you trust in me. Open heart can help to see. Finding through this world can be a challenge, not only for me. And this is why I trust the people who help me to see. I believe everyone wants me to have the same opportunity to get the chance to live my life as it's meant to be. Trust in your friends.
Disability is still a systemic issue, as the world is not ideal for people with special needs. As we just learned, blind people and people with other disability develop special skills and strengths in order to accomplish living life in this world. That's why I would like to encourage everyone to use the term differently abled instead of disabled, because disability is a term that was created through the so-called non-disabled or not differently abled society. Let's change our point of view about differently abled people and try to learn to help together and to make this world more inclusive and accessible for everyone. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ciara. Congratulations, wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And I would like to immediately start and involve the first comment and question from your advisor, Patrizia Zarate.
Thank you, Marco and Ciara. I want to congratulate you for all the hard work that you have done during the year. It has been wonderful to work with you. I have learned a lot, actually, in the process. This should be the opposite, but yes, I've learned a lot, I have to admit. And also, I want to tell you that your music has grown tremendously from the very first time that this became a piece of music to now, a full recording, beautifully sounding with, wonderful musicians. So I want to congratulate you for that. One thing that I would see for the future, for your future, since you have, an aesthetics that is pretty solid, and you have also the chops, to make it happen and to express what you want to express through the music. I would encourage you to go deeper into world music, other types of music, folk music, African musics, to expand that aesthetics that you already have, and also the wonderful music that you make from a very special place, but also even get farther into that through discovering new musics of the world. So I want to congratulate you, and it's been a pleasure working with you this year.
Thank you. I'll go travel the world and find out.
Yes.
Thank you, Patrizia. And I would like to give the word to Steve for any question or comment.
That was beautiful, and most don't know, but we were all learning things before, even before your presentation started. Thanks to you and your wow. I'm just kind of blown away, and I was. It was so beautiful to hear some things that we talked about in our lessons come to life. I'm kind of blown away. I'm still trying to figure out some of the music that I heard. So thank you for that, for planting that in my brain and helping my day, I hope. Get away from some of the other end of semester things. But I'm curious, and I hired you this past summer for our summer programs and got to see you teach and got to see a different perspective of you as a blind person teaching all sighted students. And that's one thing we talked about in our lesson. And I'm just curious what other assets you bring. To me, they're obvious. I hope they're obvious to you, the assets that you bring to a lesson with sighted people. What can you help us to be more aware of, to be more sensitive to be a better musician? And I'll leave that question with you, but I'll close by saying what I said at the beginning when we started studying together. I was convinced that I'm going to learn more from you than you learned from me. and I'm still standing by that after getting to know you for the last couple of years. Um, uh, I feel like I took lessons as well, and I appreciate that. But what do you bring to the table? Say I was going to hire you in the bass department or another college, and we were sitting there. What do you bring to the table?
So on the one side, I think that most of the answer that I can give you was already shown in the presentation, because I talked about all the special skills and strengths that people with disability, especially like I as a blind musician, have. And I think that everyone who takes lessons with me or who interacts with me, no matter if that's in general life or in the music scene, learns how I do those things, how I memorize, how I compensate the missing of sight, how I trust people, and also how I get around and know my way through a room. And then the other fact that is very important, I think, is that I am different, and that I am actually differently abled or disabled, how the society is still calling it. And that makes people more aware of, that makes people more aware of their surroundings. And I think that every community I have been in, no matter if it was school or if it was teaching myself or if it was my friends, I think a person with a disability, and I have noticed that myself, brings a community together more, because you have to help and you have to be there for each other in order to give everyone the same opportunities. And I think those two aspects are the biggest. And I think we can all learn from that. Not only the other people learn from that, also I learn a lot from that. Actually, I learned a lot about myself during the last year. So it's not only you all that are learning, it's also myself.
Well, that's beautiful, and to the credit of the global program, you are thinking globally. Now, me, I'm just a bass player. I'm thinking one note at a time, and I'll just say this: you bring to the table so many things, but one thing in particular that I think you can share with bass players is we're so used to using our eyes to navigate harmony and navigate our fingerboard. And I would hope that you would emphasize, like you did with me, that we can all be free on the fingerboard. We can all be free harmonically without relying on our sight every time we change positions. And I'm constantly blown away every time I see you do that. And all I know is you just tell me it's possible. You did it because you had to do it, and I want to do it because I know it's possible. So that would be, if you were teaching in my department, we would be hammering away at that one. Anyway, I'll shut up. Thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I wonder if any of the faculty, I see Alan Chase and James Bourne, if you would like to have a word.
Yeah, Ciara, wow, it's so great to finally hear your music and everything you've been working on. You know, I've seen you so much this semester in the classes and everything, and wow, fantastic. So great, so great to hear your own stuff and all this amazing project that you've been working on. I kind of really honestly echo everyone else's sentiments. I've learned so much being with you and seeing your perspective on things, and absolutely what Steve was just talking about, like you embody, you know, that concept of really playing through the ear. You know, that thing that we all are trying to seek, you know, at a high level. That's something you do so naturally, and it's inspiring. It's really inspiring for me, and I think everyone else. And you know, I was thinking when I was seeing these videos with your musicians, I think they got to get on your page too. have them all memorize the music and play it through the ear, you know, that kind of thing. I know that takes time to cultivate, but I would love to see that, you know, one day, as you also cultivate your community and the people, you know, bring up the musicians around you. I think that'd be fantastic.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Alan?
Well,
Yes.
Marco, just want to say that is
Right.
actually happening, and we have the memory song that we're going to play in Panama And it's so difficult. Now we have to all memorize it. And it's very
difficult
challenging.
to read, so you have to memorize it.
Good, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that thank you for that. I learned a lot from it. Alan Chase here. And it was a pleasure working with you in a class a year ago, and your incredible ability to transcribe and analyze and perform very complicated choices of music when we were studying jazz history. And this is really my first chance to hear your original music. I wish I'd heard it sooner, but I am just blown away. I can't wait to hear a whole album of these kinds of compositions and your playing and the kind of ensemble work that you put together here. It's really, really great and exciting and imaginative and original. You know, maybe I can hear some influences and precedents for parts of it, but I've never heard anything quite like it. It's really special. And I just want to encourage you and tell you that we're all looking forward and waiting for hearing more. And I want to hear those pieces again too. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations on that. The music is incredible. And thank you for the education. I learned some very important things about the compensation of other senses and some specific things from your presentation that I didn't quite know before. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Alan. And Ciara, from my side, I just want to congratulate you on everything. And I'm very, very glad about the point you're making about not calling disability, but different ability. The different able it's really an important perspective. And as a parent of a differently able kid, I know we had a lot of conversation about it, and I think that you embody this concept extremely well. And as we can tell, from what you presented today, from your music, and from everything we saw you in this year in the program. And so I'm very, very glad you made that point very strongly. And I would like to now give the last word to Maestro Daniel Perez.
Ciara, our mentor, our teacher, you expanded our minds, our brain. You really did. I told you from the beginning of our session, and I side with Steve comments on that, and Alan and Chase and everybody. You taught us a lot. You came in to really expand our mind and to really look, into when we talk about getting out of the comfort zone. You really taught us how to do that, how to leave that. So first of all, great project. I remember the beginning of this. For some reason, I got to see the beginning and something towards the end. And the way it develops, it shows your character, your commitment, the way how focused you are is fantastic here. The solo piece and was very moving to me, and it's just very beautiful. It was right to the center. It's like just like the Ciara I know. I am so excited to hear the final project. I only have one comment, and it's regarding to the door that Steve, you opened a door for me, which is something I always thought about Ciara every time. She's creating such a case for a new type of perceptual learning that I would even go deeper, because I know one time you described all the process in the classroom. I remember in the forum I asked you, on one of our ensembles, I asked you about how do you learn so fast, because I was so blown away, Steve, that she learned better than anybody else, but she has a method. She is not just coincidence. She has a methodology about how she does this. So I will encourage you to put this in this project, just the process, how you do that. I think that relates a lot to what Steve brought in. Teach us how you learn, because you have a method. You have a concept how you do it. And I think that would be very powerful to have in this project. The other thing that I encourage also, to consider the word compensate, because as we're talking about disability and ability, as Marco mentioned, the idea of compensation to me, for some reason, touch about the recognition of a loss. But I think heighten the superpower of the brain to go from that perspective would also accompany that concept of not change the word compensation for heightened senses or
heightening senses. I like it.
Yeah, or super development of brain plasticity. So those are my two comments on it. But amazing. I am so proud and honored to have been working with you and to have been mentored by you too.
Thank you, Danilo. Ciara, do you have any last words?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who was supportive on this journey. Everyone, the Global Jazz Institute, Marco, Danilo, Steve, Patricia, everyone who inspired me for all the topics that were in this presentation. It's not only me, because without everyone here, I wouldn't have been able to do this and to come up with everything. And yeah, thank you to my friends and family who were always so supportive, and to everyone else who helped me to get that far. I'm just so grateful and feel so much gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ciara, and congratulations again.
Marco,
And go ahead, Patricia.
Can I just recognize Chi Kim from the music therapy department?
Yes, especially Chi, thank you as well.
Chi, who is also responsible for Ciara being here at the Global and being here at Berklee and having this incredible, being the director and the leader of this lab, pretty much. Perhaps Ciara, perhaps one of the few in the world, if not,
it's the only place in the world.
The only place in the world that she has developed for blind musicians to explore, their creativity at the highest level possible, right?
Yes, and without you, I think he's in the meeting. Without
yes, Chi, open your camera if you can, so everybody can see you.
I can do the camera, but I can talk.
Okay.
Yay, Chi. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Thank you so much for
no problem
for coming here.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful presentation. And Ciara, I when I talked to professors who taught blind students before, like this is like very common comments from them, like they learn from students. And I really appreciate all the faculty and staff who can appreciate those processes, learning together and struggle together and come up with the solutions and learn together. And I think that's so wonderful. And we have this opportunity at Berklee. And thanks for everybody.
Thank you, Kim. And this is the end of this presentation. Congratulations, Ciara, again. We encourage you to continue in this amazing path. And we invite you all to come back in 15 minutes for the third presentation of the day with Emil Dieger. And I'll see you all later. Thank you and congratulations again, Ciara.